Another movie year has begun. It's official.
It's official. We've passed by the Oscars, and now we're in a whole new 2023, brand new set of movies. Let's go, and welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where two friends, two amigos, come together to talk about nerd shit. That's right. It's me, Luis Gonzalez, and...
Ed Bull.
That's right, just us. Miguel will be back
us.
with us next week to talk about The Last of Us. Yes, The Last of Us did come out this week. It was a huge season finale. We look forward to Last of Us Season 2. But we're going to talk about that next week. This week, we're going to do a little recap about the Oscars. But before all that, we're going to do a quick recap on some news. Some big news. Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
What's happening with Tarantino, Ed?
After an entire career saying that he only ever planned on making 10 movies for us, he's finally arrived at his 10th and final movie, which reportedly is going to be the Movie Critic. And that's all we really know about it, other than it's going to be set in the 70s.
Okay.
And it's going to have a female lead.
Okay. You were hoping,
and that's all we know about it.
You're hoping for Uma Thurman, her return to a Tarantino.
I would love to see Uma Thurman come back. I thought that she was going to return in Django Unchained. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen. It ended up being that Australian woman that he likes to work with a lot. I don't know if you know which part I'm talking about, but in Django specifically. But I love their collaborations together, obviously Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, famously. I feel like Uma Thurman is utterly underrated. And if it took another, Quentin Tarantino team up, for her to just get back and... because I feel like that's happening with a lot of, actresses who were popular in the 90s, early 2000s, they're making these little comebacks and, having these, renaissances. We've had so many in the last decade or two, so I feel like Uma Thurman deserves her flowers.
Absolutely.
And if this is definitely going to be Quentin Tarantino, why not, his last, why not go out with his two-time nominated actress? Oh no, just one time. She was never actually nominated for Kill Bill, which is a shame. But
what a perfect opportunity to bring her back. I mean, this whole movie seems like a reflection on his career. We also had a reflection of somebody's career, like Steven Spielberg just did.
Because he's a dad now.
He's a dad
now. I'm wondering, how is this going to play? Is he going to tackle all of his genres through movies in a movie? Like he likes to do.
I imagine he's going to. This is going to be so self-reflective. He's already his movies are already so heavily influenced that now this movie called The Movie Critic is going to be, it's going to be just gushing with movie influences. It's just like a thesis of his whole life and everything that he's done.
Right. And he gets to play a little bit in everything he didn't do as far as genre.
I wonder if we'll get those vignettes, throughout the thing.
Since his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, there was rumors going around he had a Star Trek movie in mind. Yeah. He said he wanted to tackle full out horror, slasher horror.
Yeah.
He's kind of done westerns, but in his own very unique way. He's done war movies. So it'd be cool to see, if it did come to that, like you said, vignettes.
Yeah.
What he throws out there. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some sort of rendition of his Star Trek, even if just a glimpse, and then his horror movie and stuff like that. Kind of like a Death Proof Grindhouse experience, almost.
Yeah, I see.
But with a critic at the center.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, as we talk about it more and more, you're selling me the idea. I know when we talked about it on our text chain, when I first saw the title, I was disappointed a little bit because he has all these influences and he plays to them a lot. And so I just wanted to get a new, different idea. And I feel like if we're doing Movie Critic, then he's really going to lean into that. But then again, I did say that I'll probably fall in love with this movie regardless. So once it comes
I
out,
mean,
I'll
quite
be like,
possibly.
And you talk about these vignettes.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah. This is our best one yet. I think talk about the vignettes and seeing teasing his potential Star Trek or teasing these different genres that he could do, like these mini movies. That would be cool to see.
That could be fun, and it could open a lot of doors to a lot of actors that he's worked with previously, which he likes to do. So like he had Austin Butler as one of the Charlie Manson crew from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wow.
And now he's blowing up. It's like, are you going to bring him back? The possibilities are endless. Bring back John Travolta. I always thought John Travolta should have come back for Django as well.
Yeah.
Instead of what's the guy from Miami Vice who played? He was like the plantation owner. There's that funny scene with the KKK.
I was going to be like Colin Farrell.
He was in Knives Out as well. I always forget his fucking name.
I don't know his name. No, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm pulling it up. But
are you talking about Don Johnson?
Don Johnson,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I always thought John Travolta would have been great in that role, but I guess whatever. Samuel L. Jackson will surely make an appearance.
Clearly he'll be here for sure. I mean,
Come on. Like, get that Oscar finally,
Well, he does have an Oscar, but it's just a life achievement Oscar. Remember?
Yeah.
He had it last year.
It's not the same.
And we did our Samuel L. Jackson game where we tried to name as many Samuel L. Jackson.
That's right.
movies.
We did. You're right.
So he did win an Oscar, but he hasn't,
We are a year old now, folks.
Yeah.
We have memories.
We can call back to older episodes. Yeah.
Exactly. That would be... bring them all back, bring the entire ensemble from every movie. I want to see Jackie Brown in there. I want to see Michael Keaton show up.
Yeah, you know what?
Bring the whole gang
back. This is the movie critic. If you're already going to reference so many things, reference your own movies, reference ideas that you had, bring back all your cast. Let's have a reunion. If you're going for it, let's go for it. Let's just go to the moon with this.
He's been so adamant about just making 10 movies.
Yeah. Do you think he'll make a TV show? Do you think
maybe
that's his way out?
It sounds like he's going to dabble. I think he's going to dabble in... He's obviously already written a book, probably make some more books. He said he's getting into theater more.
Okay.
So, which I could see, he did like a...
Hateful Eight was basically a theater movie.
A live reading, yeah, he did a live reading of that one. Maybe that's his path, I don't know. And maybe further down the line, he'll just be like, okay, just one more movie.
That would be the biggest get out of any streaming service. If they got him, I imagine it would go to HBO, right? That's where it would land.
I don't know. It was Netflix who got the extended edition of The Hateful Eight, so you never know.
Whoa, that'd be crazy. You think Tarantino would go to Netflix? I feel like he would want to have
just because they gave him a platform for The Hateful Eight extended cut. So remember when they split it? What was it? 4 ways. That story on Netflix, and so they added whatever. It amounted to 4 fucking hours or something. But I don't think The Hateful Eight stands as anyone's favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
No, but I mean, all of them are pretty great, no matter what you say. Even if they're not your.
He's like Christopher Nolan and Martin Scorsese. That name comes with something.
Yeah.
You're in for something. You don't know what.
Yeah.
But it's going to be fucking wild.
I agree. I mean,
hopefully.
He's got a track record where it's all of his movies are great. Same with Wes Anderson for me. Wes Anderson, like all of his movies. But
it also ruins your expectations too.
But
because you want perfection every time.
I know, but now
and it's just that's our relationship with directors. It just happens. There was one time where Christopher Nolan couldn't be touched.
Oh,
but now
yeah.
Now you're just like, man, is he doing the time thing again?
What other fucked up, mind-bending, twisted shit is
exactly. So in Quentin Tarantino, you never know what you can expect, but it's always surprising for sure.
It's always fun. Before we end, I wanted to, on the news part, not the episode, but Uma Thurman, she has her daughter. It'd be cool if they work together.
Ooh.
into having
Yeah.
some sort of, I don't know, relationship story, or just it
And
seems like,
she was in Once Upon a Time too,
yeah,
right?
see, it's a great opportunity
Yeah.
just to kind of bring the houses together.
Yeah,
Um,
why not? They look identical.
they
Like,
do.
if he did end up doing like a Kill Bill Volume 3, she could definitely have been uh, Uma Thurman's daughter in that,
Yeah.
I guess. Why not? Hey, Quentin, if
That'll
you're
be his
listening,
yeah.
just either reconsider your 10 movie structure or maybe don't go with the movie critic. But either way, give me and Luis a call.
He's
We have
he's
ideas.
one of our 54 subscribers on YouTube, and he's adamantly listening, getting ideas. So yeah, that'll be his last movie. Unfortunately, another show that will never see the light of day again is Willow. The series has been canceled after one
Yeah.
season. How crazy is that? I remember after the show ended, they set up for 2 more seasons. Basically,
Oh, really?
yeah, so when you start off the show in Willow, it opened up with a book, and each chapter would be
Yeah.
the new episode. And at the end of season 1,
Oh.
they alluded to something that's going to happen later on, like this will happen. They closed the book, they put it on a bookshelf, and next to that book is book 2 and book 3 of Willow.
Oh, man.
And so it's, kind of saying, yeah, there are going to be 2 more seasons. So,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not saying it was a knock out of the park show, but it is kind of like unfortunate that I won't be able to see the end of this story.
I was wondering, like, do you think that the reaction or the reception was just so poor? Like the viewership, I mean,
Yeah,
that
I think there must have been the
they
viewership.
just axed it.
It's a viewership. But everyone's
Because
all the streaming services are really getting tight with their money now. They're axing stuff. They're slimming things.
Yeah. They're just like, oh shit, we can't do his like new show every week kind of deal.
Exactly. The whole concept was to throw more content, and then we'll get all these viewers. But now that idea isn't really working as well, so they're trimming and slimming.
It worked. It worked for the pandemic, but we're out of it now.
Mm-hmm.
Top Gun got people back to theaters, as it were.
I know, saving us back in.
So I put that in there because I knew you had watched the first season. Did you not? Recently?
I did. Yeah, I did.
So quick turnaround. I mean, that's a shame.
It's a shame. Yeah, I feel like those actors were ready to go. I mean, I enjoyed it mostly because of Warwick Davis, but it would have been a fun thing, and it's unfortunate that it's getting canceled again because we never get to see the end of the story.
Yeah, maybe one day it'll get revived again.
No, you know what they do sometimes? They turn them into comics, and then you just go and finish the rest of the story through comics.
Yeah, like a graphic novel.
Yeah, like a graphic novel.
Fuck it. Why not?
But
I'm sorry for your loss.
It's okay. That's all right. So before, actually, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about that's not on here. Is James Gunn is actually now going to be directing the Superman movie. So he was writing it, and he's officially directing it. And
I was wondering,
I didn't really find this as a surprise. I feel like I saw the news today, and it was like he's directing, and I was like, yeah, I guess. I always kind of felt like that was going to happen, and
he did seem to. It felt. You got the impression that it was his baby.
Yeah,
because he was actively writing it. He was excited about it, and he clearly has a different idea of who Superman should be compared to what Zack Snyder thought. Mm-hmm. So it seems like I don't know. It would have been. I guess it would have been strange for him to hand that off.
Yeah,
but it also makes me wonder.
Yeah, what?
Like if he's, okay, you got Superman, James. You gotta revamp this whole franchise, but you gotta let other people.
I think what it is, it's like a showrunner for a TV show. When let's say Boardwalk Empire or House of Cards, you had Martin Scorsese directing the first setting
episode.
The tone. He wasn't the showrunner, but he was a guest director that came in to set the tone.
Yeah,
David Fincher did it.
Rian Johnson with Poker Face. Yeah,
perfect example. Rian Johnson with Poker Face. He comes in, sets the tone, does a couple episodes, and then he kind of hands it off. So I feel like this is the same situation where DC really needs that guidance, and he just has to step forward and create a precedent for it. I don't know if I told you this, but before he did Suicide Squad, DC actually came up to him and told him, would you like to do a Superman movie? So this isn't the first time that he's thought about or that he's gotten the hands of Superman. So it just seems like it was something that he couldn't escape. Like he was fated to do a Superman movie. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if it gets an Oscar.
That's pretty big, though.
If it doesn't get an Oscar, speaking of Oscars, there's some Oscar trailers.
Talking of Oscars already, yeah, there are some Oscar trailers. Because guess what, the Oscars happened.
The Oscars did happen. They did this cool thing where they showed an exclusive clip to a trailer.
It was almost like a Super Bowl, but not as many, I guess.
What's funny about this is that the Video Game Awards, or like these, the Video Game Awards, they not only is an awards, but they show a lot of clips and trailers for games that are coming up, and so it just seemed like it was kind of the same thing. And it's a great way to get people to watch the Oscars. If people aren't interested, you can say, hey, we're going to give exclusive clips, exclusive trailers to movies coming up this year. Tune into the Oscars where you can see those for the very first time. So
Indeed.
We got that for The Little Mermaid. What'd you think, Ed?
A first full look.
I know.
So, like, I literally, leading up to this, I guess Haley Bailey and Melissa McCarthy were presenting an award, or somewhat during the ceremony they were doing this. So I was just like, oh, well, they're bound to show the Little Mermaid trailer in the next TV commercials. So I ran and got Lily. And we just waited and waited until it happened. Then it finally happened.
Yeah.
And Lily was excited. We've aligned it with her birthday. It happens like a weekend before her birthday.
Oh, wow.
The Little Mermaid. So she knows that, and so every time she sees like a trailer, she's just like, "It's not my birthday yet. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Still grasping trailers, but all that to say, she was excited, which I guess is the goal.
Yeah.
As far as me, I was just like, it kind of feels like another shot for shot. You get your first glimpses of Triton. Triton.
Right? Yeah.
That sounds
Which
better.
I completely forgot who played that role.
Javier Bardem.
I can't believe it.
So
That was
random.
I fell back to my couch. I was like, oh,
I did too.
What the?
Oh, what? What is happening? It's just like so buff. And, and they're all you mentioned it in our text chat as this somewhat iffy visual effects so far. Avatar: The Way of Water, it is not.
It did.
That's for sure.
That spoiled everything about.
That has ruined everything. Visual effects for all time. We got glimpses of, I guess, most of the stages through the story. You get the gist that they are gonna kind of play it beat by beat. You got to see a little bit of Under the Sea sequence. And that just kind of reminded me of the Be Our Guest sequence in the live-action Beauty and the Beast, which just felt so bland and flat.
Yeah, I've already
even though it was all. Who hasn't? So I have a little bit more just like, okay, this might just be another notch off Disney's belt, basically. Yeah. I hope the best, like, if anything, for Lily's sake. I'm sure she'll eat it up.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, as Little Mermaid isn't my favorite Disney classic, but it's a solid one. You got to see Scuttle, too. It's just that, like, photorealism coming to, like, meeting with cartoon characters.
Yeah.
So you've basically got a live-looking seagull doing the scuttle hijinks,
it could be a little weird sometimes.
A little bit weird. Sebastian just looks like a real crab. That's where it just starts getting a little weird. That was what was really boring about The Lion King. It's just like, it's a nature documentary put to music with Beyonce doing the voice.
I never saw that movie. I know.
You don't need to. I don't think you need to.
I haven't seen that one or the Aladdin. I was just like, I
can't do it anymore. We watched the first 5 minutes of Aladdin, and we just were like, no.
Dude,
we already just no.
I from the trailer. I'm not even talking about the genie. I'm talking about everything.
Everything.
The casting.
Just everything.
Yeah.
It's so glossy, but it's all like surface value, I feel like. Because we already know these stories, and if they're gonna just redo it shot for shot.
Right. You kind of have to elevate it a bit. You know this information, let's elevate it. But obviously this is a movie for little kids. And we're just
little kids.
We have to take them to the movie theater or just revisit and have
Exactly.
a nostalgic effect to be like, ooh, what would it be like if it was real life? I think there were some moments of it that looked really cool. I think that the iconic moment when she like comes out and
Yes.
you know, that was cool. I think some of the stuff above the water was shot really well, like when the crash of the boat was coming in. It's just when they're underneath the water doing the under the sea, the VFX, it just like felt like toyish a little bit, where
almost like a different kind of movie.
Yeah. Which I hope it takes time to fix that.
They released that. Yeah, they released that teaser poster, that same shot with her on the rock above the sea. Looks very picturesque, like a very. I'm not talking about the main poster that they released with the trailer.
Right.
It's just Ariel on a rock surrounded by the ocean, but it looks like an oil painting.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's very like it looks great. So it's weird. They could lean one way or the other, but it seems like it might just be the same old stuff. But this is from.
I also think she's doing a great job as Ariel too. Like the way,
hell yeah!
When I saw her
voice is incredible.
Yeah, when I saw her perform, and just not even just her singing, but her acting and just like communicating with, it was like, oh yeah, that this is like I'm getting the vibe of Ariel. So, yeah,
exactly.
We'll find out more about that movie.
This is as it comes out in April.
Is it really
May 26th?
Okay, yeah,
May 26th.
Like, man, that's really soon.
From Rob Marshall, who did do Mary Poppins Returns, and I did like that movie. As a Mary Poppins fan, I can say that.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah,
Oh, I forgot. Daveed Diggs from Hamilton.
He's in this movie?
He's playing Sebastian.
Oh.
So that could be fun.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Wait, did Rob Marshall...
Jacob Tremblay is Flounder.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
I'm looking
and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm only just finding this out. Lin-Manuel Miranda is the chef.
That'll be good. That's funny.
That would be good. That'll be good. All right. I'm actually on board for this movie now.
I said it before. I think, look, I don't think that a lot of the live action Disney movies are that great. But I think out of all of them so far, I feel like this one might be the better one out of the lot.
Did you see Cinderella, if we're talking about it?
No, was that
the live action?
I haven't seen it.
I think that's the best one of the lot.
Okay.
Honest and true.
That was before like everything really ramped up. This is in 2015.
Everything ramped up, and they started literally doing the shot for shot. They were trying more experimental things, you know.
And that was directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh. Lily James plays Cinderella. Kate Blanchett played the evil stepmother. Helena Bonham Carter plays the fairy godmother. It's a pretty good cast, and it's just like one of those. It's just very sincere,
right?
And it's hard not to be kind of swept up with it.
Did you see Maleficent?
I never saw any of those.
I saw the half of the first one. Not because I stopped watching it, but I had to leave the theater for like an event.
Oh,
and I just never went back and saw it again. But that one's different because it's not retelling something as much as these other ones were. Like it's doing a more.
I was super excited for the Maleficent one. I will say that I was excited for it, and then it came out, and I saw all the reviews. I was just like, okay, maybe not.
I mean, you know, after getting a taste of all the other Disney stuff that we've been getting, maybe you go back and revisit. Who knows? I'll be wasted and I'll watch these. Like, let's put them on.
Do I smell another ranking coming?
No, here we go.
The Disney live action remakes ranking.
And 101 Dalmatians with Jeff Daniels would be included in that list.
Oh,
the first.
Well, that would be like one of the tops.
That's one of the first official.
Now we have Cruella. Ugh.
Right. So
anyway, so we also had another little trailer.
Yeah.
And I've mainly put this in here because we're all looking forward to this movie. We got like a 30-second TV spot for Oppenheimer, Chris Nolan's upcoming movie, and I mean, I don't know, but I'm currently reading the book, so I'm increasingly getting excited for this movie.
Yeah.
And
man, I hope your hopes don't get dashed. Like you're reading all this stuff, and then you're gonna be like,
I know.
God damn it, they didn't include this part about a story about him.
They didn't do this bit or this bit. That I think it'll be very interesting to see what Chris Nolan does with it. The book I'm reading is the influence for the movie, so I don't know. And it covers his entire life, so it'll be But I've all that to say, it's a very interesting read, and I think Cillian Murphy is like the perfect choice
after
to
reading
play
the book,
Oppenheimer.
After while you're reading the book, you're
so
like,
far, and I guess like it always helps. Like when I read books like this, you've seen either the movie or the trailer in this case, so you have that picture in your mind of that character.
You can start playing them in your head.
Yeah, and there's like some pictures in the book too, and I mean there is a resemblance there. So I think I really hope this is Cillian Murphy's like big movie, like gets him in the conversation.
Are we talking about next year Oscars already?
Who knows? You know? Christopher Nolan, he's gotten one Oscar, one acting Oscar out of his movies, and that was for Heath Ledger. That was a long time ago, so we'll see.
Are you okay over there? Was that one of your dogs?
Yeah. Maybe on a stare.
Oh. What
are you doing? Oh, sorry. But yes, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, no, the trailer looks cool. It's like, it's exciting. There's all these like very cool, exciting visuals that I'm seeing from this trailer. Obviously we have a lot of Nolanisms about him kind of mind fucking you. So I don't know how much he'll do this as like a historical thing that happens. So how much mind fucker can you do? But the visuals look really stunning, and there's some really cool things that are happening.
They're trying to give us. Yeah, I'm curious to see just like they do seem to be leaning into that. Yeah, like the. I don't know. I don't even know the like scientific way to describe it, but you see these like atomic rings and like different explosions or like implosions. Just like random shots thrown in the trailer where you're just like, ooh, okay, you got my attention.
What's what they did with
I don't know.
Interstellar? So when they were doing the black hole, they had they collaborated with real scientists, and they came up with a formula that they were able to input into visual effects, and it spat out the visuals that we saw in Interstellar, so that it was kind of this one-to-one relationship with actual science and reality.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they took the science of the atomic bomb and say, okay, well, this reaction would happen here, 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 and then they put it to VFX. And that's how we get these like rings and cool like microscopic visuals that we could never get, or we die. Like
right. It could be like the most insane theatrical experience ever. I don't know. Like you remember a couple of years ago, whenever they sent up that new telescope, and they got a picture of the black hole, and it turned out to be almost exactly what they had in Interstellar, like 6 years prior. I mean, that's pretty great. Like, Chris Nolan knows what he's doing in this regard.
I like this commitment.
It's his storytelling that we
his storytelling and sometimes his dialogue. Oh, you know what I mean? And his sound editing.
Especially his sound editing, But no, Oppenheimer, we're looking forward to it.
We don't know if it's going to be an Oscar, but what we will do is talk about the Oscars from this year. It just passed. This is our featured discussion. We're not reviewing any movies. We are reviewing an event. We're talking about an event, the event of the year, the event of our year, the Oscars.
That's right.
And I'm going to pass this to you, and I'm going to let you lead the charge. But I'm here to bounce off of you, and let's talk Oscars.
All right. Here it is, the 95th Oscars. I guess my first question to you is, how much did you get to watch of it? I know you had somewhat a busy evening.
I had interruptions. I had to get pulled into something, unfortunately. But luckily I was able to watch the majority of it, and even on my drive when I had to leave to go to my new destination, I did put it on in the background on my Hulu live TV app. I just put it on there, so I was able to listen to some of the winners. I got to listen to Brendan Fraser's award-winning speech.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna talk about that.
And then and then the last two for Best Actress and Best Picture, I saw it luckily at the bar where I was at. So no sound.
Those were good ones.
For the most part, I watched the majority of the whole thing. Thank God. So I'm here to talk about it.
Have you? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, in retrospect, did you get to watch some of the bigger moments? And there was no slap. There was no slap.
No
or
slap. Yeah, I mean,
like
honestly,
that,
the only two the two moments I missed was the Best Actor speech and the Best Picture speech. So, and I haven't had a time to go back and hear those, but I guess I hear you talk about them, so we'll do that instead.
Yeah. Well, let's start at the very beginning because we all know that. Yeah, we all know an Oscar show is not a show without its host.
That's right.
And of course, this year it was Jimmy Kimmel, who's a veteran at this point. I think he's hosted 3 times now.
Okay.
So we got the usual opening monologue. I assume you got to watch that.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a great opening monologue.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel kind of annoys me sometimes. The last time he hosted, he really annoyed me. But yeah, I thought this was a good monologue, and it kind of touched on all the right things. It wasn't controversial. Naturally, they were going to talk about the slap.
Yeah.
Sorry, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, you guys were the laughing stock of this year's Oscars.
I mean, they had to institute a crisis team for the Oscars, legitimate crisis team that are on set.
And you got to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
You got to acknowledge that. And also the fact there was one of my favorite bits was where he was just like, in the event of something like that happening, just do exactly what you did last time, which is do nothing. And the offender will be given a Best Actor award, and you guys could clap and maybe even give him a hug. I was just like,
yeah. I mean, he call people out on that for sure.
I mean, I get it. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? But also, like, God, it was like a cringy moment last year. So, yeah, I thought he did pretty good. I think all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, he does a live show pretty much every day, and so working with the live audience, going reading a teleprompter, just feeling the vibes. He is experienced and he knows how to handle it. And I think he's one of those safe bets after kind of a chaotic Oscar season where is he going to become our Billy Crystal of Oscar hosts when they need somebody in safety? They'll call Jimmy Kimmel, who can handle any twists and turns. And I didn't think it was too, as far as like overall Oscar stuff, I don't think it was, except for the cocaine bear part, but I didn't think it was like incredibly silly.
That was bad. That was a little bad.
I think that was the only like maybe rough patch, but for the most part, I think things were pretty good.
I agree. I will say one thing that repeatedly bothered me was just like how much we had Jimmy Kimmel on camera talking to us about how long the show is.
I see. Yeah.
And every time he did that, I was just like, well, you could have cut this bit out. You could have cut this 2 minutes out.
That's a good note.
And we could have moved right along.
That's a good note.
The Oscars,
once or twice, you
obviously,
have to keep going and saying it over again.
Exactly. Like, please don't remind us that it's taking forever. And then, oh, look, it's already 10:30 and we still haven't gotten to Best Picture. They insist on putting in these bits. It's like, yeah, people are just going to eventually get tired of that. But to their credit, I will say I feel like every year they're trying out new things to move things along. Last year they took away some airtime for certain categories.
They called that out too.
Which obviously
in the monologue.
Yeah, that did not go down well. And rightfully so. Everybody wants to be recognized and have their moment in the spotlight. But they made a point in certain categories to have 2 presenters awarding 2 categories back to back. I like that. I did feel like that was like a good way to keep things moving.
Yeah, totally.
If it weren't for all the banter before and after, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. it's really I guess we hardly know just how much you have to consider. It just feels long because we have to have commercial breaks and all of that. But like, there's only so many ways I guess you can cut this massive show down. So beyond that, I mean,
and giving people time to talk. You want.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's always the smaller awards that get cut off right away. You have to be aggressive when you're a team of
brutally
people.
so.
You have to be like, And so before I go, and you have to kind of like grab your other teammate and push them to the mic, like almost have them continue your sentence. I think I saw them do that for one of the documentary short at Wars or something, but he eloquently like brought his other partner to talk before they cut the music off. They start the music.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So, do you want to just go category to category? You want to go from the bottom to the best?
I'll do.
And then we could just pick off moments.
Yeah, and then we can just. Exactly.
All right. I'll start off at the bottom then. Best original song. I will say this year there were at least like 3 really good performances where I was just like, ooh, this is, if I hadn't already made my selection, this would be a tough one.
Yeah.
The winner, of course, was Natu Natu for the movie RRR.
That's right.
It's the only one that movie won for. It didn't get nominated for Best Foreign Language Film.
No, it didn't. That was the only thing it got nominated for.
But let me tell you, that was like a really fun performance.
Yeah.
Well, I was really into that. I don't know about you. Did you get to see that one?
Oh, yeah. I saw this one too. And it was obviously colorful and big and awesome. But if you were into that, watch the movie because they go hard.
I know.
On this
immediately after that, I was just like, I really do just need to shut up and sit down and watch this movie.
They do the dance, like dance. But by going hard, they really they really give it physically all into it, and I get exhausted watching it. But it's good. It translated well on live stage, and you're right. I mean, all of these songs, I was just like, damn. Like there was just a big selection of top songs that we thought could take the win.
Yeah, so I think all of us picked Rihanna for "Lift Me Up" in Black Panther, which I thought was also a really good performance, very effective, and she looked great.
Yeah,
because she's Riri. But yeah, no. So that was the winner. I guess the others were
Lady Gaga,
which
I like too. I think it was
I thought that was a good one.
It was good too.
And then they had the funny Everything Everywhere All at Once one.
Oh yeah.
Where the guy was wearing the hot dog fingers.
Yes.
With Stephanie's shoe. That was fun. So, but yeah, Natu Natu was the winner. That was a really good song. If you didn't watch the Oscars, but are interested in just like hand-picking clips, that's one to watch because it was a really energetic performance. Okay, moving up. And this kind of goes into one of the movies that kind of swept some of the technical awards. All Quiet on the Western Front won Best Production Design. It also walked away with Best International Film, Best Score.
That's wow, that was kind
which we'll get to, and then Best Cinematography.
I agree with that.
Which are pretty big. Those are like some of the more top tier categories if you want to rank it like that. But yeah, I mean, I felt like at this point it was a shoo-in for Best International Film, Best Production Design. I mean, pretty solid. Cinematography, I feel like that was a toss-up for sure between All Quiet, Elvis, and maybe Tar.
Yeah, it was definitely, for me, it was Tar and All Quiet, I think, as toss-ups.
Yeah. And I thought Elvis honestly was going to nab it, but yeah. So that movie ended up winning 4 Oscars. All Quiet ended up winning 4 overall. So yeah, good for it, I guess.
Yeah, good for them.
It was a solid movie. Was it like the best one of the year? No,
but it was solid in what it did.
It was solid. It was well done. Yeah, and then best score too. Man, I suspected that it wasn't going to happen, but I really did want Justin Hurwitz to win for Babylon.
No, I feel like they were.
Because that's such a good score.
I feel like Hollywood wasn't in for it for Babylon this year because they were like critiquing LA and they were like, all right, fuck you. You're not getting nominated for anything. You know? You're not getting
exactly. Oh, and fucking Jimmy Kimmel had that massive burn about like the distinction between TV and movies. And he was like, the great thing about TV is that TV can't lose $100 million, whereas movies can. It's like the team from Babylon here. I was just like, oof, woof. So, yeah, that's a shame. But Babylon had a lot of great technical aspects to it, at the very least. Like, best, I thought it was a strong contender for production design, best costume, best score, best cinematography, but alas, no go. Any further thoughts on that?
No, I mean, if we're okay to talk about All Quest on the Western Front for score, that was a surprise for me because, you know, obviously it has that iconic, yeah. That's like, it happens, and I'm like, wait, is that... I don't remember the rest of the score. I had to text you, and I was like, Ed, what are your thoughts on this? Because all I know is the dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Which is an effective it's an effective sound, but as far as like winning the award on just like
I'm not gonna go like dancing down the street twirling a cane to it. Yeah. No, it was suitable for the movie, and I guess it created a sense of atmosphere and place, but not a standout, but hey ho.
Yeah. Okay.
So some of the smaller ones, let's say, best live action short went to The Irish Goodbye. Best animated short went to The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Best documentary short went to The Elephant Whisperers. Any comments on those?
The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse is a book. Good book, like for kids' book.
Yeah.
So if you have kids, I think it's a good book to have. It's on Apple TV Plus. Sometimes I feel like some of the content's very difficult to have to get access to.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch the Academy Award animated short, and you get Apple TV Plus, you can watch The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. That's it.
I will say, leading up to the Oscars, of the live action shorts, the only one I got to see was Les Pupilles, which you can find on Hulu and Disney Plus.
Okay.
And I would recommend it. It was very cute, very sweet. It's just set inside an orphanage run by nuns in a small town in Italy during like one of the wars. You know, say no more. A gorgeous looking film, very cute. A lot of whatever. So I didn't really have. That was the only thing I had going on that category. I haven't seen The Irish Goodbye, and then animated short. The only one I saw was My Year of Dicks.
Okay.
Which is also on Hulu.
Okay.
It's about 30 minutes long, and that was a fun one. Or it was an interesting one, I guess. A little more graphic and stuff, but yeah.
Okay. That's good. I didn't know where this stuff was available.
Yeah, I mean, it's scattered, obviously. Like you said, the Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, I haven't been able to see, but I knew it was on Apple TV. So that's the one that won. So you want to check out the winner. That's where you can go. Moving swiftly on, the best visual effects.
I mean, come on. We all knew who was going to win this, right? If they didn't.
Apparently Miguel didn't.
That's right.
Miguel definitely... He voted for Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Because he definitely took the... So if you have seen Avatar, you might see through its glorious 24 frame per second frame rate that sometimes the visuals get a little blurred. Sometimes it looks more like a video game than a movie. Miguel took that personally. In a movie that is just chock full of the most outstanding visual effects, Miguel wanted to nitpick the small faults. But yeah, this was a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody saw if Avatar was going to win anything,
it'd be this one.
It would be fucking visual effects.
A person putting his hand and then tightening it as he mounts this animal. It's just like, oh my god, it looks so good. Just like the detail.
So fucking real.
It looks
Like
so
when you're
real.
underwater, which isn't real water,
Yeah.
and you think you can reach out and touch the whale that isn't a real whale. You're just like, yeah.
No, I mean it's just like all movies need to be this way, and we need to take time with our visual effects. Clearly, if you're able to do a 3-hour movie, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do that with other movies too. I think you just need to have that someone leading
And
the
I think
charge like that.
Any other year, maybe Top Gun was the one to take it.
1,000%.
Because I think that was like a good blend of live action
Yes.
and then visual effects.
Agreed.
That's like what that movie was. But yeah, there's no way. No way, Miguel, if you're listening to this, you were never going to win that. So yeah, that was the only award that Avatar, the fourth
That's okay.
highest grossing movie of all time.
It's okay. They're gonna have many. They're gonna have plenty more chances. And apparently, to Jimmy Cameron, that fifth one or fourth one's like gonna blow our minds away or something.
If we make it.
If we make it.
If we make it. Following that up, best costume design went to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
I think that's good.
Which I think at the last minute I second guessed myself and I said Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
Which didn't end up winning any awards, but I thought it would get maybe one or two
You're
technicals.
Right. That's crazy. I think Elvis, I mean, whatever your thoughts on the movie, because I've heard people obviously not like the movie as much, but I mean, the costume, the makeup, the hair, and Austin Butler, I think there's these shining moments where you can't really ignore. Like, if you didn't like the way the story was told, I think that these people did a fantastic job, and they could have easily
And the
won these
costumes
awards.
were outstanding. I mean, they did a great job recreating that kind of that look.
Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, and Austin Butler rocked it. But yeah, I mean, a lot went into that movie, obviously. And this wasn't the first one where, or the only one rather, that I thought Elvis was going to win. But we'll get to that later.
I mean,
so yeah, costume design went to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Obviously, the Academy overlooked the outrageous looking costumes for the Midnight Angels of that movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I think they really did overlook that. That wasn't given to them in the review package.
It's just all the trendy shit. Yeah.
All
it's just like, oh man, they look good now.
No, and like there's just like the ceremonial clothes are cool, So
everything else just right at the end.
Right at the end,
just
they
like, what?
You don't need to see. It's all the same. You can keep moving on.
So that was best costume design. Best makeup and hairstyle went to The Whale.
This one was tough too, because I also thought Elvis could have been equally there too, because you have to track Elvis aging and going through time with his makeup and hair and just the way he carries himself. His eventual, and then also I guess like Tom Hanks's character. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Was all prosthetics, and then also I think Elvis was my pick, but also the Batman.
Oh right, yeah, the Penguin.
I had some great prosthetic makeup and hairstyling. So
The Whale was pretty seamless. It was very I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's just that one thing. It's the main thing.
Yeah, it's your hero thing. Yeah, I mean that was pretty realistic. I would say that one more than what's his name in the Tom Hanks,
Colin Farrell,
and Elvis.
Oh, Tom Hanks. Yeah, that one, like his specifically, was less convincing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, The Whale. Yes, of course, it makes sense. I mean, that's all you're focusing on, and good for
the
them.
whole time.
Yeah.
And you get to see him in the shower. So
I mean, all of these. I think that's the thing we talk about. It's just a lot of people could have won, and it was a lot of good contenders.
Tough
this
categories.
Year. It was a lot of contenders this year.
Talking about good contenders, Guillermo del Toro got his Oscar for animated feature.
There you go.
For none other than Pinocchio, the movie I feel like should have been nominated for Best Picture as well as some other things, but. That's just the way animation goes.
Who would you have kicked out from Best Picture to put in Pinocchio?
Ooh. Only because it's like lower down on my my favorite list, either All Quiet on the Western Front
Okay, yeah.
or Elvis.
Oh yeah.
And I like Elvis. I like both of those movies, but I thought Pinocchio was much more just like nuanced and
Yeah. Was
so
Avatar nominated for Best Picture too?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I didn't want to kick back on it because I actually like this one.
Those are it's like almost iconic moments in movie history with Top Gun and Avatar, like coming post pandemic to see them up in the running for Best Picture. But yeah, Pinocchio. That I said it too that Netflix has been on the hunt for Oscar wins, and Apple, they're upset that Apple TV got to an Oscar win before they did with Coda. So here they are winning for Best Animated Feature, and then obviously All Quiet on the Western Front was a Netflix movie, so they got a lot of awards there as well. I'm glad I got it. Best Animated. It was beautiful and definitely deserves the praise that they got
received. Here. All right, next one. Best Sound.
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, it sounded like real planes taking off. I rewatched. I was going to talk about this in what we've been into, but yeah, I rewatched that movie on Friday before the ceremony, and man, it is. I mean, technically, it's so sound. It's such a good movie on that level. So I think if Top Gun had walked away without any awards, that would have been a shame.
That would have.
And I think, like you said, it was such a strong year in so many categories that I think maybe it lost its momentum by the end of the year.
I think another contender that I did a really good job. Well, mostly for the Batmobile chase scene. I thought the sound work on that was really great. Like the car revving up. They layered a bunch of different sounds and manipulated the speed on it to kind of give it like this piercing sound effect, but also this guttural effect that they were playing with. I remember
that you weren't there, unfortunately, for that first showing, but that got a reaction from the audience. It was just like,
that's what I mean. That's what sound does. It can like pull an audience and get you excited.
Switch the whole tempo of the scene. No, but there you go. Top Gun got its Oscar.
Right.
Got its Oscar.
We'll have to wait for Batman 2 to get an Oscar.
There you go. Best editing. This is where we're getting into serious territory now.
Yeah.
And after this, we could basically tell where the tide was turning to. Best editing went to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Definitely went with top two. Top two. It was Top Gun and this one for me.
I remember when we saw Top Gun, the first thing you said was, this has got to be like the best film editing of the year by far. Because it is. It is like, there's so much happening on screen that flows so well together.
Exactly.
Where you're just looking at planes on screen, and it could look like shit, but you get a sense of place, a sense of direction. It's
clip
really
choice. It's about the choice of clips that are up on screen and not just like, I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like they obviously have all these crazy montages and assemblies and quick cuts and like things that kind of get your adrenaline pumping. Of course, Top Gun does the same thing too, but I think it's a difficult task of trying to make sense
with a tighter narrative.
Yeah.
And I've listened to a couple of podcasts with Eddie Hamilton. I think I've sent you one or two. Where he's talking about the process of editing Top Gun, and
I think you did send me that. So,
many hours of footage. But it's fascinating to hear how and why. Just the things that they have to process just for a moment, like talking about the title sequence where you're really just watching planes take off from an aircraft carrier, but like so much consideration and time and energy went into just 30 seconds of screen time. So, I would implore anybody, if you're even remotely interested in editing, look up some interviews with Eddie Hamilton.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fascinating.
2 top contenders here. You can't go wrong. Great win for them.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once was
totally
well edited.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've done a good job when a lot of the cast didn't know what Everything Everywhere All at Once was going to be like.
Yeah,
like whilst filming until they saw it, and then they were just like, "Oh,
yeah.
This is fucking amazing!" Yeah. Like all the while, they're just like, "Okay, I have hot dogs on my fingers. Yeah. What the fuck does this mean?" Yeah. So I mean, there you go. Like I said,
yeah, exactly. Intercutting these scenes and multiverses together.
Did you just say intercutting?
It's a new editing term, okay? You wouldn't know if you're not in the business. No, I think they intercut between different, especially in that third act, all the different universes really well together to kind of build upon that. So that was good for them.
It's good. Good editing.
Okay.
You heard it here first. All right. Best adapted screenplay went to Women Talking. Which I watched the morning of the Oscars. I got that last Best Picture nominee.
Nice.
And, maybe that was one that I would have marked off instead of Pinocchio. I don't know. I did like it.
Yeah.
That is to say.
It's a very... I would like to see a play version of it. I'd say that.
Yeah, definitely.
It feels like a play movie.
Definitely. Absolutely. It was engaging. It was a good script. Yeah. I mean... It was a movie that relied entirely on dialogue. So,
yeah.
I can't say I've read the book, but I can imagine what it's like.
Yeah.
My pick for that one had been All Quiet on the Western Front. That was the first one that movie let me down. I was just like, oh, well, shit. But after watching Women Talking, I did have a sneaking suspicion that it would take that one,
right?
If anything. So... Yeah, best original screenplay.
Ooh, baby.
Obviously went to Everything Everywhere All at Once. I will say I did have Banshees of Inisherin pegged for this one.
Yeah, I did think that was going to win.
Yeah, I thought if, it was likely, it was definitely building up to not winning any of the major awards. But I definitely thought this one was in the bag. At least. And the fact that it didn't win anything...
That's tough.
That is tough, man. I mean, what a solid movie. I think universally agreed that it's a great movie. For it to not win anything, surprising. But, again, I can't say I'm disappointed because the originality of Everything Everywhere All at Once, I mean, you can't deny it. So
I mean, and honestly, at this point, it's just an Everything Everywhere All at Once train, except for one stop.
It really
detour.
is.
So
it really is. So buckle up, everyone. So I'll zoom through these quickly, and we'll just talk about it at the end. Best Supporting Actress went to Jamie Lee Curtis. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Best Supporting Actor Ke Huy Quan for the latter. Best Actress Michelle Yeoh, and then Best Director went to the Daniels, but Best Actor went to our buddy Brendan Fraser.
Wow,
for The Whale. His journey came full circle, and he is officially an Oscar winner now. And then, of course, Best Picture went to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Hence. By the way, if you're tuning into our YouTube channel, hence why I'm wearing the googly eye.
This whole time, we went an hour without discussing it or mentioning why you're wearing googly eyes. Yeah. But googly eye.
So, if you thought that you should only listen to podcasts via audio, think again, because I'm trying my best to make it a visual experience for our listeners.
I do a good, I work hard on Spotify. You can watch our podcast. There's like a video option. So if you don't want to be on YouTube, you can go to Spotify and watch the podcast there. So you can see.
Shout out to Louise working so hard to make us look good.
Thank you. Look, I want to start off by saying that the most upsetting thing of the event was the fact that Angela Bassett did not get
Did not win.
Did not win. And that like infuriated me. I was infuriated by this.
I do think a lot of people were not on board because I'll be frank. Not that I didn't like Jamie Lee Curtis in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but when I first saw that movie, she was not the first person that came to mind.
To be nominated.
Of our cast, I thought Stephanie Hsu, who was nominated, who plays the daughter,
right?
I thought she gave a tremendous performance. But on top of that, you have Kerry Condon and the Banshees of Inisherin.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she like basically carries that movie. And then, of course, you have Angela Bassett, who definitely carried Wakanda Forever. And I think a lot of people were disappointed that Angela Bassett did not get it.
Absolutely.
And I'm kind of on board. I'm happy for Jamie Lee Curtis, but do I think she deserved it? No.
This is a Leonardo DiCaprio win. This is one of those things where, he deserves an Oscar, but maybe not for this movie. And it seems like a career Oscar where she hasn't got an Oscar yet. Here's an opportunity to give her an Oscar. But man, Angela Bassett, they played a clip of it.
They played the clip,
and I was like, even think about it now, I'm getting goosebumps. Just her performance, and I don't get that pull the same way that Jamie Lee Curtis. I think what she does is entertaining. I think it's fun, but as far as like grabbing my heart and putting it into your hand and just pumping it, she's not
the supporting force in that film. Stephanie Hsu and Kei Kwana.
Yeah, and I mean that was the most. I will never. I don't know. I hope.
I'm so glad that Everything Everywhere All at Once got as many Oscars as it did. But yeah, that is the one that I would absolutely question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're alone in that thought. I think towards the end of the awards circuit, I think she just kind of built enough momentum.
Yeah.
She was clickable, likable, however you want to phrase it. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis is obviously a very big public presence.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people just off the top of their heads aren't as familiar with Kerry Condon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she just had that kind of support. But I'm surprised that people didn't rally behind Angela Bassett, man. Like, yeah,
absolutely.
Real shame.
So, Angela Bassett, if you're listening, we have your back. We support you.
We had your back. You're the best supporting actress in our hearts.
Exactly. You're the best supporting. 2020, what is this? The 95th anniversary? You will always be my best supporting actress. Yeah, I mean, Everything Everywhere Wants, I think rightfully so. They are a movie that have been nominated and I think won the most awards of all time.
Yeah.
More than Return of the King.
Collectively over the course of the award season.
Yeah.
Right, yes. I mean, which is great. It's like the little movie that could, which I know a lot of people were saying about Coda last year, but this really is that.
And it came out in February, not during what people assume Oscar season would be. Or February or March. It came out really early in the year and just kept running and running and running. So it's just
getting a year later. It's getting a re-release in theaters.
Oh, really?
This weekend.
That's cool.
Gonna have like a little Best Picture reissue for people who haven't seen it yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
I kind of want to go see it again.
See it too. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, celebrate.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. I mean, was there any other things you wanted to point out? I did want to point out, and we discussed this, but whoever the musical artist Tamsin is, whether it was you or your designer, fuck you for wearing that dress to the Oscars. And making like 10 people have to look around you in hopes that they might be able to catch the most important night of their lives.
I wish it was just I think it looks great walking up the red carpet. It's just unfortunate for people behind you unable to see the not being able to see the like if he was able to remove that like a part of it. I mean, I'm not a costume designer at all, but all I know is that it was unfortunate for the people behind her they couldn't see the Oscar event, you know.
Yeah, like, and blatantly, there's like just pictures of people trying to peer around her dress, and you know, now the Oscars are going to have to implement rules.
Oh,
where
yeah, height. Your costume,
Yeah.
your clothes can only go so high or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
no, you can't go above the shoulder
Yeah.
or whatever.
no, but that's it, man. Oscars, good year. You know, I'm happy again. You know, I know you do it every year, but I'm proud of myself for watching the best picks.
Me too. It was. I'll say this: it was nice to have a companion.
Yeah.
Who at least had an opinion on each of the movies.
Absolutely.
Towards the end there, so
I'm ready to do it again this year.
respect.
So we're gonna keep doing it until the day we
10
die.
movies. Here we go.
So that was the Oscars, and now we're gonna move on to the last segment. What we're into. Ed's been a busy
What are we
boy.
into?
You've been
Just a little.
You've been watching some stuff. Well, what have you been into?
Okay. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I was trying to get my last few Oscar watches or rewatches, and I was trying to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once one more time before the Oscars. Didn't get a chance to, but I did get to rewatch Top Gun Maverick and show it to Sarah, who didn't get to see it in the theaters. I think overall she enjoyed it. You know, I think she takes it as, because she showed me the original Top Gun.
Right.
So I was just like, well, this one's so much better. You gotta like this one. And I think she did. I think she had a good time with it. So yeah, I was glad I rewatched it. It holds up. Very entertaining film. The other one, like I mentioned earlier, I managed to slide in Women Talking, which you can watch on Amazon Prime. It fortunately came out like the weekend of, so
cool.
I squeezed that in. You know what? I was more taken with this movie than I was, say, The Whale, which we were talking. And I only mentioned The Whale because you mentioned how it feels like a play.
Yeah.
One of my biggest complaints about The Whale was that I thought it felt like a play.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like one emotional monologue rolling into another emotional monologue. You know, everybody's just crying on screen kind of thing. I thought this one had a little bit more balance in the story that it was telling and the perspective we were seeing it on. Like, for the most part, yes, it does take place within a barn of this community or colony, I guess they refer to it as, of women who are addressing the attacks from their male counterparts and whether they are going to stay in the colony or leave or fight or whatever. And I mean, obviously, it's terrifically acted. You've got Claire Foy, Rooney Mara, Frances McDormand.
Barely in it, though.
Barely in it, yeah. I'm just shouting it up because it's an easy name to remember. But yeah, no, I was definitely much more taken with this one, and that honestly, I think maybe I had lower expectations. I don't know, not that I'd ever heard anything bad, but just that it was like, yeah, it's good. So yeah, I thought it was really good, and I can see why it got the Oscar for adapted screenplay, and I think I think because of the fact that it was more of an ensemble, that we didn't see anybody get nominated for it. But I thought Claire Foy in particular was really good in it. So yeah, overall, I mean, very effective. And me and Sarah have watched a lot of documentaries kind of like in relation to this. Not this specific story, but just like similar situations. And I mean, it's, you know, it's sad, it's upsetting, triggering for some, I'm sure. But I thought they did a good job of portraying these attacks in the aftermath as opposed to having this gratuitous,
Mm.
you know, rape scenes or whatever that go on. Um, it was just very effectively done, and I feel like it wasn't overindulgent. I thought it just handled everything really well. And the one man in the movie is Ben Whishaw of, Double O Seven fame and Paddington. And he was really good in it too. He's just kind of like a side character, but he has his moment too. Everybody gets their moment, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, he was very effective too. So yeah, that was my little Oscar roundout.
I when I watched that movie, I was taken aback. Like I had to rewind it because they were like, "Come on out for the 2011 or 2012 survey," or like census. Is it come out for the 2011 census or whatever? 2000. And I was like, wait, what? This is in the 2011? I thought this movie was based in like the 60s or some sort of like not current time. And so I was just taken aback, like, wow, this kind of adds a whole other level to the story, where these people are so far separated, so isolated that it's just
like dealing with such
like not even being able to read, like not knowing where the world is or what surrounds them. It's just
on the map.
That was a huge deal. It's like where are we in the map?
And the reason why it's such a difficult choice of whether they leave the colony or not is because they just don't know where they're going or what they're going to do. So it's it's kind of mind blowing and sadly a very just real thing that's still present in the world today. So, women talking, Amazon Prime.
There you go.
There you go. Luis, what about you? As far as I know, when I printed off this document, you hadn't been into much. So what have you been into?
I have two things. I'll start off with this one, I guess. So I don't know why it happened, but lately I've been into the Scream franchise.
That makes sense. So a new one came out.
A new one came out, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go see what it's all about. I've seen the first one a couple times. One a long time ago. Another time I was, not sober. And so I was like, okay, let me just sit down and actually see this movie and try to remember everything. Because there's some like iconic moments from the movie. It's like, okay, yeah, but how did we get there? And so now I'm making my way through Scream 4. I'm in the beginning of Scream 4. And
so you're coming You're coming along.
I'm coming along. Yeah, Scream 1 was like 96. Scream 2 was 97. Scream 3 was like 99.
It's crazy. Can you imagine having... Like, even these days, I feel like a sequel doesn't come along that quickly.
I was blown away when I saw that. I was like, are you kidding
Scream,
me?
I know Scream was a big deal when it first came out.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. Everybody was talking about Scream. But yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize it was that close consecutively.
It's super crazy. And then they did the third one, which had a different writer, and so that one was not as well received. And yeah, it was not as good as 1 or 2. And then I'm starting 4 right now, and so far, also not as good as the other ones. But then the fifth one, the Scream 5. Supposedly like resets everything and it's supposed to be good again. So I'm excited to kind of jump back into like see what happens.
Which one has been your favorite so far? Because I've only ever watched the first one and I've seen it twice.
I think
I gotta say I don't care for it.
I mean, I think it's just like I don't know. The first one and the second one are the better ones, I guess. I guess I have a soft spot for it. It is kind of just like it's like a funny horror thing that's obviously at the time it was super meta and it was obviously super self-aware, and the second one is even more self-aware and it only does well because of the first one. But then as it kind of keeps going, it's like this thing where the snake's eating its own tail and it just continues to, I don't know, become too meta for itself, and it just gets a little bit out of hand. And Yeah, I mean, if you barely like the first one, then I would say you don't have to watch the other ones. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's like a moment in time in history that I kind of want to wrap my head around.
Sure.
And I'm just kind of getting behind it, and I'm excited.
I respect the process.
Yeah.
I respect the process. Yeah, I don't know. I think what maybe also ruined it was before I saw any of the Scream, or just Scream, the first one. I saw Scary Movie, and I think
well then
that tainted my opinion of it.
Because then when you go watch it, you're like, oh yeah, this is ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, but this is when Ghostface says, "What's that?"
Yeah, I think that
obviously doesn't happen.
Like a scene like at the end of Scream when they're like, they're both stabbing each other, the two killers. I was like, man, this is kind of gnarly. You know, it's like, man, you really hurt me, man. He's just like bleeding all over himself.
I'm bleeding out, man.
I'm bleeding out, man. It's just like, yeah. And then the first scene is like kind of cool too. You know, like you think it's going to be Drew Barrymore the whole time, and it does a really good job of like
they psycho it. Yeah,
exactly. And all the other Screams kind of try to recreate this feeling, sort of.
That moment, yeah.
And it's very difficult to do. But, you know, I'm here to check it out. I've also learned a lot about this this writer, Kevin Williamson. A lot of people might know him. Maybe listeners do. But obviously he did Scream franchise, which is really great. But he also created Dawson's Creek. He also did I Know What You Did Last Summer. He also did the famous Vampire Diaries, which was also a cultural event. I never watched the show, but what I'm saying is that people gravitated to it the same way that people gravitated towards Scream and Dawson's Creek. Yeah, it's just like it spoke to people in this like teenage, you know, growing up, you know, becoming of age. The
epitome of 90s, early 2000s storytelling. I mean, like that kind of teenage angst of, I mean, similar to Buffy and stuff like that. It's just like of an era. Yeah,
he hit the chord where people kept wanting to go back to it. You know, he also did The Faculty. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but that one's a good one. I think I haven't seen it in a long time, but I had a good time with that one. The Faculty and these Scream franchises, they all have like so many different stars coming in. I'm like, holy shit, you're in this franchise? I had no idea. I'm just getting like surprised by these people that are in the franchise. Like Liev Schreiber is in the Scream franchise. Anyways, it's like it's a hoot, I guess, where I'm gonna keep watching it. And let's see, what else has he done recently?
Faculty was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Wait. No,
this is the one from 1998 and it has Josh Hartnett in it.
Yes, The Faculty.
Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood, Claire Duvall. Let's see.
It's got Jon Stewart, I think, in it too, doesn't it? Yeah, Jon Stewart's in it. Usher's in it for sure.
Wow, Salma Hayek.
Oh, Jordana Brewster, the girl from the Fast and Furious. Yeah. No,
all right.
Maybe we'll watch it.
What a cast!
Yeah. That's what I mean. He these movies. They always pull up quite a cast of people, like of that moment of time.
Absolutely.
So yeah, okay. It's, 'tis the season. Scream 6 is out. I figured I finally get behind it, see what the fuss is about. So
are you planning on seeing Scream 6, or are you trying to watch the others first?
I'll probably finish them this week if I can see it in theaters. Then maybe. But there's so many movies coming out this. Currently
upcoming these next couple of weeks.
So we'll see if I can make it, but maybe I'll watch something else, but who knows? I don't know. But it'll come out on VOD soon, but I figured I'd just catch up on it. So yes, that's one of the things that I'm in, and I have a second one.
One of the things. Okay. I guess we better hold off on talking about The Last of Us, but I did wrap that up today.
Okay.
Is that all we should say?
Is that all we should hold it off for next week?
Okay. All right. I will just confirm that I have finished it.
Okay.
Good. And then I also finished Drive to Survive, which was the Formula One show.
You love that show.
That I've been to. It's fun. I mean, it finishes all too quickly. Like 10 episodes is not enough because now I have to wait a whole nother year already. But if you're into Formula One, I strongly recommend it. Or just like professional car racing of any kind, Formula One is considered like top tier. So, and Netflix does a good, they pointedly make references to Top Gun a lot this year. Obviously, it came out last year during the season that it's covering. But one guy describes it as like, this isn't a documentary, it's your version of Top Gun, like for cars. So it's like, I get that. It is. It's very, it hones in on the drama. You're not watching these races in full. You're just watching the dramatic moments. And so you got to take it as that, but it's very entertaining. It's well done, and it's kind of pulls you into that world, So,
all right,
yeah. So that as far as TV goes, that's it on my end.
I have, you have something, and I have something where it's more of theatrical because,
indeed,
I went to Universal Studios in Hollywood, and they have this show called the Waterworld live show. And if you ever go to Universal Studios, and I think they have it in Florida, but if you ever go to Universal Studios in California, go to the Waterworld live show. It is a good, entertaining, in your face live show. The things they pull off with stunts and just the effects. I mean, I don't even want to spoil. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it, but I don't want to spoil it for you. It's just like
it's
cool.
It's cool because it's one of those things. It's such an enigma. It's a movie that did not fare well.
Yeah.
Most people, whenever looking back on it, think like, "Oh yeah, Waterworld."
Right.
That movie wasn't so good. But for some reason, it's had this long-lasting legacy as a great theme park attraction. Yeah. So, the last time I did go to Universal, my trip was cut short because of a hurricane. But I would have loved to have seen that, all the little bits I've seen online from time to time, it looks great. So, I remember loving that movie as a kid, and then you grow up and you realize, oh wait, everybody hated that. I guess I have to. I guess I don't like it either. But no, that's cool. I mean, because it takes. I mean, you guys are just kind of like around a big water tank or lake, right?
It's like an arena. It's like what's it called? Semicircle. You're just kind of covering this water area, and there's obviously splash zones as well. So if you want to sit in that splash zone, they have these like boats that'll come in and splash on you as well, and it's super effective. And the stunt people are really great as well. They have, especially in Hollywood, there are stunt people who are doing stuff with Westworld, Wonder Woman. I don't know, but just a bunch of stuff that are happening currently, and. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but if you go to Universal Studios, make sure to go to Waterworld. Check out Waterworld for sure.
Quick question for you: if you could have any of your most favorite movies to have maybe like a scene or whatever turned into a theme park ride or show, what would it be?
I mean, okay, this is so difficult. So Six Flags Over Texas used to have a Batman live action show, and it was the best fucking thing in the world. They had the actual 89 Batmobile running around, and he was flying and like zip lining through stuff and knocking out Joker. I mean, that was incredible. Non-superhero world. And
you saw that? You saw that live?
Oh yeah. I saw it live.
Oh,
and it was cool. Like, I can't believe they even took it away. I don't know if the rights went away, but it's such a shame, and I wish that they would bring it back somehow, because a live action Batman like that is really cool. If I had to find something that was non-superhero, maybe like a John Wick, like a live action John Wick.
That'd be brutal.
Yeah.
Just watching this guy just like, and all these bodies are just piling up.
Yeah, you just see blood spurts coming out of their heads. Just or man. You know what would be good? Kill Bill. A live action Kill Bill would be very cool.
That could be fun.
You know,
that could be a lot of fun with like lighting and stuff too, like playing with the silhouettes and stuff.
Yes.
Ooh,
I'd like that.
Shivers just went my spine. I was thinking, I know they have Waterworld made me think of this, I guess, but maybe like a Mad Max Fury Road show.
That's cool. Yeah.
If you could somehow do that with moving cars, I don't know, but like
make the arena
have it in a circular track.
Yeah. I mean,
but
that's what you have for monster trucks. You know,
yeah.
You could have way to like incorporate monster trucks in there. You could have, I don't know, maybe screens on the side of it to make it like you're traveling through a lot of stuff. I don't know. I would see that for sure. Mad Max. So Mad Max, Kill Bill, and John Wick. There you go. We got ideas. Let us know.
Bunch of R-rated entertainment for you.
That's right. Okay, Ed, wrap us up.
That's cool. All right, wrap us up. We're talking about live shows. Me and Sarah got to go see Moulin Rouge, the musical, which, as I understand it, you saw.
I did see
Luis.
It. Yes.
Yeah. It's a fairly new musical that's making its tour right now around America. And we're big fans of the movie, Sarah and I. And so we were just like, yeah, why not? Let's try. We got, the cheapest seats, but I feel like it wasn't hindered in any way.
Mm-hmm.
The sets were incredible. I'll say, like, the overall show we loved. We had such a good time with it. Maybe I preferred the first half to the second half, but if you're familiar with the musical, just talking to our audience, obviously it's kind of like a jukebox musical. The original movie was, and this one takes that and turns it up to 100. Mm-hmm. There's so many new and current songs in this musical. I mean, it took me by surprise. Like, I remember Sarah didn't grow up with a lot of musical theater, but I did. And she was like, do you think this is going to be like a, by the numbers adaptation? And I was like, usually when they adapt a movie into a musical, they'll probably throw in one or two extra new songs. Yeah, for, context or exposition or whatever. And but this was just like took the songs and then added every other like love song that you could possibly think of. And it was I don't know how your audience was, but ours was rowdy, but in a good way. Yeah. Like, you could tell everybody most people who went there were there for a good time. You know what absolutely. I mean? Like, there are a lot of like these big groups of women with boas and stuff like that, just getting a little schwasty. Which, if anybody has never been to the Hobby Center in Houston, you can take your drinks into the theater, which is a big old plus. But fuck me, we got 4 drinks and it cost $100. Just a heads up. So that was that. But the show itself, the sets, I should say, were incredible. It's visually stunning. The cast was really good. Like I said, I think, and I mean, just by its nature, the first half was a lot more fun than the second half.
Right.
Though
it's a little bit more
it still ended on a high. It was really good. I've been listening to the soundtrack, of course, and but yeah, no, it was a fun adaptation, and I would recommend that. Even for like, just like for non-regular musical theater goers. Yeah. Like this is a fun, like I said, jukebox musical. You're going to be familiar with at least some of the songs, if not all of them.
Absolutely. You're going in ready to dance because they're bringing kind of like pop song favorites and rendering them to kind of push the story forward. I mean, there's one scene when they're kind of like professing their love to each other. They're pulling from so many love songs and
all at once.
I mean, like 6 or 7 or 8, like just flowing in and out, using the lyrics to kind of communicate how they're feeling. Seamlessly through.
That's great. Yeah, no, I loved it. They for the bad guy, the Duke, he had a number that was a mixture of like 3 or 4 Rolling Stones songs, which I ate up in a heartbeat. I was just like,
I forgot about
oh, that's awesome. So yeah, no, it was really a lot of fun. It's making its tour around the US right now, so if it happens to come to a city near you, would strongly recommend. It was a lot of fun.
And
we don't get to talk about musical theater all that often. So.
I know. They even added an extra scene in there. If you've seen Moulin Rouge, you know that Nicole Kidman's character, I forget her name, she has like a relationship.
Satine.
Yeah, Satine. There's a scene that's new in this musical where you get to see her go to like France, or no, go to like the high end of Paris,
right?
And
that's right.
live that life, and kind of get spoiled, and kind of go into that community, and that's just something that wasn't in the movie. And it's like, okay, cool, we're adding new things to the narrative that we have an opportunity to explore that, and so I thought that was a cool moment.
Yeah, I did appreciate that it wasn't like totally by the numbers and predictable in that sense. Like, oh, this happened in the movie, but they threw a twist in there, or just like a new kind of tempo in the musical too. There's a moment where the Moulin Rouge like show conductor Ziegler, who in the movie was played by Jim Broadbent, he's trying to distract the Ewan McGregor character, and they drink absinthe together, and they do that to the sound of Chandelier by Sia.
Oh, and yes, that was
a great scene, and that's not in the movie, but that was a great. So I just there's a great like mixture of, like we were saying, just like more current, more recent songs that really play really well.
It's like I don't know if you've heard of Girl Talk, Ed, but this is like they mash songs up together, you know, that people like, and so this is like the same situation where just like it's the Girl Talk musical where they just mash.
It's a show.
No, it's an artist. They
okay.
They're an artist, and they like mash music together into different songs. So yeah,
I'm gonna look it up.
Check it out. Listen to that. Listen to the Moulin Rouge. Go to Waterworld if you want to feel crazy. Watch some Scream. But until next time, you know what? We're going to talk about The Last of Us. Hopefully, we'll have an extra guest here, so we'll multiply from 2 to 4 next week. But you know what? I mean, until next time, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez.
And Ed Bull.
And hurrah, this is our shortest episode. I see you.
Hurrah. I see you.
Oh,
I'm doing the Everything Everywhere All at Once thing. Tune
that.
into YouTube and subscribe. But yeah.